Good morning. Happy Friday to everybody. Our word of the day is consanguineous, and welcome to Money, Markets, and Motivation with Mike. And so our word of the day is consanguineous, relating or denoting people descended from the same ancestor. So our show is brought to you for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence to do what is right for you and your accounts. So that is our story, and we are moving on to our heat map. The report on PCE, personal consumption expenditures, came in right at estimates. Some people are concerned about that. But that is a story. Uh, there's going to be another inflation report coming out next week, I believe. So we'll keep tuned to that as well. Few of the big cap techs are declining today after that news. Financials look good. Healthcare looks good. Energy is popping up. Real estate and utilities are another area that looks pretty good. So we'll move over to our crypto chart, see what we're doing here, and they are selling off on the inflation news. Bitcoin falls much further below 110,000. Ethereum seems to be holding up the best. So that is our story with that one, and now we're going to check on if you are all concerned about the markets getting close to retirement. This is an account that you should seriously consider for at least part of your portfolio. It goes up when the market goes up, and it does not go down when the market goes down. And it just keeps going up the stairs. And you can see there is quite a gap here. This beats index investing by about 5%. Some people say about the cost of annuities. Well, the cost of losing is much greater, I feel. And some of the annuities that they're talking about are variable annuities. What I'm discussing is fixed indexed annuities, and they do beat the indexes by about 5% per year. So that is the story there. We're going to head over to our charts. Here's Semtech. This is what we bought earlier in the week, pulling back a little bit, hit over 16, pulling back on the inflation news. Not sure why it still says it. There we go. It's up down 3.24%. Let's go over to our indexes. NASDAQ pulls back to its 20-day moving average, down 1.15%. The equal weight on the NASDAQ, taking out the big cap tech's heavy weighting, is down 0.82%. The S&P 500 pulls back to its 10-day moving average, down 0.7%. And the RSP, the equal weight in the S&P 500, pulls back slightly, not too bad, is holding in there pretty strong. And our Russell 2000 small cap index pulls back a little over 0.5%. And our Dow Jones pulls back 0.34. And I'm just going to double check something. Make sure that we were sharing our screen. Now we're going to go over to the financials, which looks pretty good. Financials are up actually 0.26% today. Take a look at JP Morgan. It is trending up. Wells Fargo. It is up 0.43%. Take a look at KBWB. KBWB is pretty flat for the day, holding right there. Looks like we got looking to at least a 1-week tightness. Not too bad. Let's go over to our VIX. VIX should be up today. And it is up quite a bit, up 5.66%. Gets nice little bounce here. So it moves in the opposite direction as the S&P 500. Let's go to our Treasury bonds. We've got a little bit of a bounce there, up 0.55% to 4.23% is the yield. Look to the 20-year. It is up almost 2%, up to 3.65% yield. Look at the bonds. Bonds are dropping in price, so the yield is going up. Pulls back 0.81% in price. So let us now go to our aerospace. Aerospace pulling back a little bit, did sell off, and it is bouncing back from that sell-off. Energy continues higher. Take a look at mobile. Mobile is moving up 0.75%. Communications is where Google is holding steady. Meta is pulling back to the 50-day moving average. Utilities, pretty flat for the day here. Take a look at Talon, pulling back to the 10-day moving average. Real estate, holding steady. Home builders are falling, off 0.73%. Biotech is pulling back. The other biotech ETF pulling back as well. Big pullback in software here. Technology pulling back to the 20-day moving average. Infrastructure pulling back to the 10-day. Semiconductors slice through the 20-day moving average. Looks like they're headed to the 50-day. Airlines pulling back 0.72%. Consumer staples are off. Consumer discretionary continues to fall. Tesla is off, and take a look at Amazon. Amazon is pulling back to the 10-day moving average. Building materials holding pretty strong here. Mining and metals are heading up. And uranium tried to move higher, and a lot of profit taking coming in. So that is that. Now let's take a look at our chart. Disappeared for some reason. We're going to take a look where the big money is flowing today. There's only 8 names here on our list. Sometimes there can be 20, 30 names. So it's just kind of showing you there's minimal places it's going. And we got a big gap up. Went all the way to 29.22, it looks like, in IREN. It's a digital mining company, up 13.63%. Look at this volume. Their earnings came out 359% increase in quarterly year-over-year earnings. This was almost a 300% earnings surprise. So that's why that is moving up. Celsius. For the longest time, it was mired down here. And it looks like Celsius is popping up today, up 4.81%. Pretty good volume since it's early in the day. Got a firm holdings. Got a gap up on a firm. The earnings came at a 243% increase. This was a 62% surprise. Much like IREN, it gapped up, went all the way to 100, and then sold back off. Daco New Energy, Canadian manufacturer of ingot, wafer, and solar cell. Strong move, did not sell off like the others. It's at its high right now, up at 11.34%. Earnings came in at 43% increase year-over-year quarter, 33% earnings surprise. Alibaba, Chinese global online company, gaps up 11.36%, near its high for the day. Look at that volume. Earnings came in a -9%, and this was a 4.5% earnings surprise. We got a Harmony Gold Mining, fell to its 200-day moving average, and it is getting a little bit of support right now today, up 5.5%. And Barella gaps up, went all the way to 93.40. Still up about 20% on the day. Its earnings come in at 215% increase year-over-year quarter. This was a 177% earnings surprise. So the earnings are supposed to go up 325% this year, and that's next year actually, and another 27% in 2027. And finally, we move on to Baidu, one of the early Chinese companies to really take off. This gaps up, and it's near its high, up 4.34% today. Earnings came out at -34%, but still that beat estimates. So that is a look at what we got there. So if we look at the Celsius right here, Celsius went into almost looked like right here on the gap up, it went into a power trend. The 10 and 20-day moving averages were kind of coupled together, but the 10-day moving average was just slightly above it. And here you can clearly see that it is in a power trend. The 10-day moving average is above the 20 is above the 30, and the 30 is above the 200. And what does it mean to be in a power trend? Well, generally speaking, once a stock goes into a power trend, it continues higher as more and more institutional managers continue to add to their portfolio holdings of this company. So that is the reason we look at stocks with the power trend. IREN came into a power trend. Let's see, it would be right about here because you had to wait for the 50 to cross the 200. We'd been right here, and what happened? Went all the way to 2154 from, let's say right about here, went from 1429 to 2154. It did pull back as people took their profits, pulled back under the 20-day, and then as soon as it pops above right over here, you can add to that again, pulls back to the 10-day, nothing really to get too concerned about, just kind of rides that 10-day here. Did pop below the 20-day here, but it came right back. It's very bullish sign right here. And then it pops today. So that is that. And I guess we're going to go back to AFRM. AFRM right here. You see institutional buying. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 6 days, heavy institutional buying. The selling was kind of muted compared to the buying. Just kind of rode the 20-day moving average. This is a positive sign for you. It went into power trend right over here. Those are all good signs. And then look at this, 483% earnings for 2026 and another 74% for 2027. Just see if there is anything else I can take a look at here. Here is the blue dot. The blue dot shows when the relative strength goes into a new high against the S&P 500. This is Pediatrics Medical. It's working on a big cup type base right here. I would just continue to watch this, see if this would have been the ideal early buy point right here as it cleared this consolidation. This is a pivot point. This is a natural buy point. It's a 5% zone. This is your loss zone. You want to sell between 5 and 8% to protect your capital. And there's a green zone up here where you can sell 20 to 25%. Let's see, here is a green zone where you take your profits. If you take your profits at 20 to 25% and you keep your losses 5 to 8%, you'll have a profitable business. So here we see the blue dot showing up in the new high. Here's the IPO that we showcased earlier. It did sell off quite a bit yesterday. It is bouncing back again today. We'll just have to wait and see. This is a natural buy point. I would say if it kind of clears this area right here, 1633, I think would be a potential buy point. And with IPOs, you may want to give it a little more room, maybe 8 to 10%, but that they often fail. But I would continue to watch this. It's in commercial stage medical technology. It is showing on our RS relative strength blue dot. And one more, and then we'll close out our chart analysis. So it looks like this stock, Astronics, has just gone into a power trend. As the red line crossed the green line here. Above the 50-day moving average is a 20-day, and here's a 200. The one concern I would have is there's a pretty long spread from the 200-day right here. Kind of like to have them a little closer, but it went into the pivot zone and then sold off today off 3.78%. Earnings are supposed to be up 38% this year, another 22% next year. Its relative strength line is 80, pretty good number. It's beating 80% of the stocks on the markets. So that is our chart analysis. We're now going to move over to our quote of the day. I like this quote from Mike Ditka, former football player and football coach for the Chicago Bears. Success isn't measured by money or power or social rank. Success is measured by your discipline and inner peace. So there you have it. I did not officially share that, but here we go. There you have it. Number 25 by Mike Ditka. So hope everybody has a great day, a great weekend. Go out there and make a difference, help those in need. And we will be back possibly on Monday, but we shall be searching and kind of seeing where things are hanging out.